Welcome, UCL fans, to our Season 2, Week 8 review and ranking for the United Championship League. I'm your host, Antenna Fanatic 64, and I've watched all the matches, calculated the results, and came up with what I believe is a fair and accurate ranking system for the United Championship League. Of course, now I am not affiliated with the UCL, but with your help, maybe someday we can actually make it so. But if you do enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up. I apologize for this being up super late today. I've just had a lot of things going on, and I'm recording this probably moments before I actually try to upload it as well. So before we actually get into the actual rankings, let's go ahead and take a look at the matchups that took place this week. So starting off with our first matchup, we have the Bronx Bear Ticks, 6-1, taking on the Manchester Magnazones. And it was, I didn't, make some quick, move you to, so I can read better. Oh, whatever. It was a 3-0 victory for the Bronx Bear Ticks. MVP of the match goes to Flygon from the Bronx Bear Ticks, who managed to get 2 knockouts this week. Moving on to our second matchup, we have the Bristol City Blazekins, who are 3-4, taking on the Tucson Terrakions, who are 5-2. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Bristol City Blazekins. MVP of the match goes to the Kiram from the Bristol City Blazekins, who did manage to pick up 3 knockouts this week. Moving on to our third matchup, we had the Grand Canyon Greninjas, who are 1-6, taking on the St. Louis Rampardos, who are 4-3. And it was a 2-0 victory for the St. Louis Rampardos. MVP of the match goes to the Salamence from the St. Louis Rampardos, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Moving on into our fourth matchup, we have the Durham Druddigons, who are 6-1, taking on the Long Island Reggie Rockies, who are 2-5. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Durham Druddigons. MVP of the match goes to Mega Blastoise from the Durham Druddigons, who did manage to get 3 knockouts this week. Moving on to our fifth matchup, we have the Toronto Togekiss, who were 3-4, taking on the South Beach Slow Kings, who were 2-5. And it was a 2-0 victory for the Toronto Togekiss. MVP of the match goes to the Mega Swampert from the Toronto Togekiss, who managed to get 4 knockouts this week and actually basically saved the game by missing the Sacred Fire from the Entei, which was more than likely a Choice Banded Entei. Managed to dodge that, one-shot it with an Earthquake, and then also freeze the Mega Altaria with a single Ice Punch and knocked it out after that. Moving on to our sixth matchup, we have the Newcastle Nido-Kings and the Philadelphia Feraligators, both teams at 2-5. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Newcastle Nido-Kings. MVP of the match goes to Infernape from the Newcastle Nido-Kings, who managed to get 2 knockouts this week. Moving on to the seventh matchup, we had the Tulsa Talonflames, who are 1-6, taking on the Carolina Keldios, who are 5-2. And it was a 5-0 victory for the Carolina Keldios. MVP of the match goes to a Zelf from the Carolina Keldios, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. And what was going to be the hype match of the week, we had the Real Moril, who were 6-1, taking on the Pittsburgh Pichus, who were 5-3. Now, I was really looking forward to this match more than anything. I actually made sure I watched all other matches before watching this one, only to discover that this match did not take place. The Pittsburgh Pichus coach, Nexus, had a big scheduling conflict, as well as the Real Moril's coach, Mega Mogwai, a.k.a. Miguel. When they both finally found a time where they can sit down and actually have the battle, it was actually going to be taking place Friday night, the night before the battles actually get uploaded. And the Nexus, unfortunately, was going to take a nap before the battle and be up in time to actually do it, but overslept. So Pittsburgh Pichus unfortunately get disqualified for this week, giving a win to the Real Moril. Hopefully we can see these two battle again at some point, whether it's just like, maybe after the season, just to see what would have happened for it, because I think this would have been a big turning point for both of these teams. Real Morils, of course, being, one of the big juggernauts of the season. Pittsburgh Pichus, though, have been doing really well as of late, and wanted to see where this match would have gone. So, unfortunately, did not happen this week. Very sad about that. But, there's always, hope that they will battle one-on-one with their UCL team sometime in the future, and you never know, there's still a chance for playoff contentions, which we'll get to in a moment. So, before we go ahead, I'm going to do some live editing, because I forgot to add something on this thing. We're back with our Week 8 rankings now. We're just going to pull that up and get a little bigger so we can all read that. Excuse me, I'm still kind of getting over this cold from last week. So we're back with our rankings after the 8 weeks in the UCL. So we can see Grand Canyon Greninjas 1-7, 16th place, -16 for a differential score. Even if they were to win the next 7 weeks, I don't think it'll be it. They would have to win the next 7 weeks and hope that the Durham Dreaded Guns, Bronx Bear Ticks, Realm Royals, and a lot of these other top teams lose the rest of their matches if they want to have any chance of playoffs. So unfortunately, it does not seem that the Grand Canyon Greninjas will be making playoffs this season. Tulsa Talonflames under the same boat as well with a 1-7 ranking or record and a -10 differential. Would have to hope that all the other top teams have to really lose the rest of the matchups. A lot of these teams in the bottom half of the bracket in that kind of same boat for it. Philadelphia for Alligator, South Beach Slow Kings tied for 13th place right now. 2-6 record and a -16 differential score. Again, the differentials not really matter in the UCL. This is just for my personal rankings to put out there, so that way we can actually see where the teams would be ranked until they actually go up against each other. In 12th place, we have the Long Island Reggie Rockies, 2-6 with a -11 differential. Newcastle Nido Kings in 11th place with a 3-5 record and a -7 differential. Manchester Magnazones 3-5 with a -6. From here on out, the next I would say was the next 6 teams, I'm just trying to do it in my head, are the ones who will still have a chance for playoff contention for it. So it's just something that was bugging me. So, 9th place, we have the Toronto Togekiss. 4-4, differential score 0 right now, just due to a lot of the back and forth. If they can continue with a good winning streak, there's a good chance that they can still make playoffs. Bristol City Blaziken, same type of thing, 4-4, 2 with a +2 differential score. Especially with their big win over the Tucson Terrakions, that gives them a chance of taking on some of the other big contenders as well, and maybe even make a string for that playoff contention. Speaking of the Tucson Terrakions, they are in 7th place right now, 5-3 record with a -1. They've just kind of the ones that they've won have been really close. The ones they've lost have been kind of big on them. So -1 in the differential puts them in 7th place. Kind of in a no-lose situation for the rest of the season if they want to have a chance at making the playoffs, as well as a lot of these teams are in kind of no-lose situations. The 6th place, we have the St. Louis Rampardos kind of clawing their way back up after losing 3 games in a row, now on a 2-game winning streak. St. Louis Rampardos have clawed their way back up before. There's a good chance, they can do it again for this season. Will it happen? It's yet to be seen. We'll have to wait and see. Pittsburgh Pichus kind of taking a stumble down as well, down in 5th place right now with a 5-3 record. Differential score of 10, so they have one of the highest differentials, and if the UCL went by a differential score, they would have a good chance at being in some type of like a wild card slot, if you will, right now. But, I mean, they have really great battle. They've done really well. It'd be a shame to not see these. These guys are definitely in big playoff contentions with the remaining weeks that they have. Unfortunately, not being able to compete this week really would have, if they would have won this week, I think it would have solidified them as being real playoff contenders. Not that they're not right now, but if they would have come out and won, it would have been like this will be like the real team to be looking out for this, for the playoffs as kind of that dark horse for it. Speaking of the dark horse, no pun intended, being the fact that the coach is JYT Gamer, we have the Carolina Keldios, only team right now with a 6-2 record, differential score of 8. Been really impressive as of late with the fact that they have gone, with six wins and only 2 losses. Now, of course, I'm just going to double look at this right now. I'm pretty sure they have a big, where is their I can't find it on there, so I'm just gonna pull it up on here. We're just gonna look at the remaining, the rest of the schedule real quick. I'm just gonna hide this real quick so we can find it. So the Carolina Keldios, which are right there. As we can see, they still have to go. Now they have the Long Island Reggie Rockies next week. South Beach Slow Kings week after that. Those, pretty sure that he has a good chance at winning. But if you look, the last 5 weeks of the Carolina Keldios, you have the Durham Druddigons, you have the Tucson Terrakions, who are in that must-win situation, so you know they're going to want to go for that. You have the Bronx Beartics, you have the St. Louis Rampardos, again, another team clawing their way back up, and you have the Real Moril. I mean, just needless to say that he's going to have an uphill battle if JYT Gamer and the Carolina Keldios team can actually beat the rest of those Mons, this season. It'll be, he will have deserved his place at the top. Deserves to be in that playoff contention. But like I said, next 2 weeks, can still be up there in that fourth place spot. South Beach Slow Kings, Long Island Reggie Rockies, not exactly have the best record right now, as you can see, down in 12th and tied for 13th place, 2-6 record. Has been doing really impressive, but has the big threats coming up. So it will be interesting to see how well they actually play for it. But we'll get into more of that hopefully later on. Third place, we have the Durham Druddigons, 7-1 record right now. So far, the only team to beat the Real Moril, which was the biggest, threat of the actual, season. A lot of people thought that that Miguel, coach of the Real Moril, is going to be here to actually dethrone Joey Pokieam, MD, from the Bronx Beartics to actually become the Season 2 champ this time, and it might very well happen. But we're not going to count out any of these other teams. Durham Druddigons, of course, showing how good they actually were this week with a really nice victory, 3-0, of course, like I said, over the Long Island Reggie Rockies. Bronx Beartics, Season 1 champions, currently tied if you go by the differential scores with the Real Moril, but in the UCL they will actually be second place right now because, of course, it's hard to say. Like, the Durham Druddigons, Bronx Beartics, Real Moril would all be tied because Durham Druddigons beat the Real Moril. Talking too much. Real Moril have beaten the Bronx Beartics. I don't think, again, I'm just going to go look at the schedule because I can't remember it. I don't think just looking Durham Druddigons. Yeah, have not faced the Bronx Beartics, which they actually will. Spoiler for it, they will actually meet this week. So I believe that's probably going to be my hype match of the week. Little spoilers for that, but definitely worth it. Let me know down below what you thought, what you're thinking of the UCL is so far. We're kind of at that real mid-season point. I know, it's kind of hard since it's a 15-week season. I guess 18 if you include the playoffs, or no, 17 if you include playoffs and the actual championship match. But regular season, kind of the midway point. Let me know who your playoff predictions are for. Like I said, it's really hard to say. These teams are all so close right now that it could really go to anyone for it. The Durham Druddigons, Bronx Beartics, Real Moril have all but clinched their playoff contention for it. The only thing is they cannot, now obviously next week, Durham Druddigons, Real Moril, one of them are going to lose, Durham Druddigons, Bronx Beartics, my bad. One of those teams are going to have their second loss of the season. It's only a matter of who's going to actually come out on top of that one. But after that, these teams won't meet again because they've already met once before, so they won't meet till playoffs, should that be the case. But all these teams have all but clinched playoff positions. If they win, I think the next 4 or 5 weeks, guaranteed playoffs. But they could still potentially lose the next 7 weeks. I think it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, next 7 weeks. So if these teams, now obviously Durham Druddigons and Bronx Beartics are the only ones that can't technically lose 7 weeks in a row, but if they lose 7 and 6 weeks in a row, that still opens up the room for teams such as the Toronto Tokakis, the Bristol City Blazekins, obviously the lower end team, or not so much the lower end teams going, with Manchester Magnazones, Newcastle Needle Kings, who, you never know, they could end up coming back if they don't lose throughout the rest of the season. And it's a very complicated thing. Certain teams would have to lose, other teams will have to make their wins for it. But let me know who your playoff predictions are. Right now, I would say Real Madrid, Bronx Beartics, Durham Druddigons, lock for playoffs. But with how the teams have been playing so far, I can't really say who's going to be in that fourth spot. I mean, Pittsburgh Pichus. I mean, it's a shame we didn't get to see them play. I would love to see those two teams go at it, even in like a post-season 2 matchup, just to see what would have happened for it. Going into also, Pittsburgh or the Carolina Keldios have been playing very well, but they haven't taken on the big juggernauts yet, so that are coming up in weeks 10 through 15, or is it 11 through 15? My bad. St. Louis Rampardos were in the championship match last season, have fallen on hard times because last season they went 14-1 and are now 5-3, all in must-win situations. Is a really great battler, has the chance of making it. Could do really great things. Tucson Terrakians, again, 5-3. Has been a really great battler in this one. Had some people might call it a surprise upset victory to the Bristol City Blazing, or upset loss, whatever you want to call it. Bristol City basically beat the Tucson Terrakians. Not a lot of people saw that one coming. I've gone on with this long enough. This will probably be safe. Hopefully another video. Again, apologize for this late upload, but I've been, if you saw from my preview video, I was sick last week. I had to work all weekend, and the day off that I had, I was still trying to watch all the UCL matches to try and actually keep up with what was going on with it. But thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you still enjoy these videos. I will be back on Friday with our Week 9 preview as well. Fortunately, I wanted to try and get like a mid-team recap going, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have the time to be able to actually do that. But I'll see if I can try and do at least, I'll definitely do something post-season stuff with team matchups and comparisons and just overall reviews for it, because I'll have more time to do those, at least since I won't have anything else to talk about for the UCL for a while. But thank you all very much again for watching. For those that stuck around, just let me know who you're rooting for at least. That's all I need. Just let me know who you're rooting for. But thank you all again for watching. Take care and goodbye.